Every business has a logo, and when it's yours, it matters. GPS is a 30-year local Las Vegas company that produces custom merch, like hats and apparel, drinkware and totes, blankets and bandanas, really any kind of swag you can imagine that features your logo or message. They're experts at finding or creating the right products for the season and the reason that fit your budget and timeline. Check out the GPS website at gpslasvegas.com, where there's a world of products to promote your brand. Pumpkin season is about to come to a close. After Thanksgiving, those seasonal delights are coming off the menus. So let's pumpkin while we can still pumpkin, babies. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm with renowned Vegas chef Sterling Buckley, and we're doing a great pumpkin roundup of all the tastiest pumpkin-flavored treats Las Vegas has to offer. Be sure to stick around at the end of this episode. We've got a segment sponsored by Juve MD, where contributor Kim Foster learns how Dr. Andrea Dempsey is helping Las Vegans manage hormonal changes through her medical practice. It's Thursday, November 14th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. All right, Sterling, is pumpkin spice only for basic bitches?
Oh, I mean, yes. Yes. I mean,
Is there anything wrong with that?
so my background, I have my father's from the South.
Yeah.
We really didn't partake in pumpkin very much as kids.
Oh, really?
It was sweet potato for us.
Oh, sure. Okay, that makes sense.
So sweet potato pie, like that was kind of like what it was for us, having a Southern background. So as I got older, and then you start experimenting with different stuff and you start seeing, okay, pumpkin, having pumpkin pie.
Experimenting with pumpkin. You had a phase in college.
And like it's pumpkin bread, and then
Yeah, delicious.
tried a pumpkin spice latte before. And it's like, okay, you're like, all right, I see it. But as a chef, like you kind of like, oh my God, it's pumpkin season. And then you're kind of like, okay, I gotta put something pumpkin-y on the menu because there's gonna be somebody that walks in the front door and says, do you guys have anything with pumpkin on it?
Does that really happen? A demand?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had employees that are like, chef, are you gonna do something with pumpkin on it? And I'm like, the back of my head, I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything with pumpkin on it. But you gotta feed that want for pumpkin because it's such a American part of being an American, right? It's such a part of the culture in history.
Like literally indigenous to the Americas, right? So it is this like of here flavor of this season.
100%. And that's,
But so are sweet potatoes.
Yeah, so are sweet potatoes, and I think we've talked about kind of like the history of like different cultures that have brought stuff over here to the U.S. and made certain things like part of the culture. But yeah, like stuff like pumpkin that's homegrown.
That's homegrown.
It's like you get like, okay, cool, like pumpkin, I get it. It's a part of American culture. It's a part of the history. It's a part of the season.
Yeah. It's interesting you do bring up like a sweet potato pie too, because that also has a similar flavor profile in the spicing, right? You're mixing it with these spices. So when you are thinking of pumpkin spice, that flavor, is it the pumpkin or is it the spice? What is the flavor profile?
Okay, so pumpkin is very similar to sweet potato in flavor, right? It's almost like interchangeable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the spice that you put around it that really helps to bring out everything, right?
Right.
So having like those kind of like wintry fall type of spices in an allspice, nutmeg, whatever the case is, it's all those spices kind of help to make it a little more dramatic, a little more different, and have a little more layers to the flavor. So I would say it's a spice.
Yeah.
It's definitely a spice over just the ingredient.
Yeah, pumpkin spice is the spice. As a chef, when you are working with pumpkin, does it matter to you if it's fresh or canned? Do you have a preference?
Okay, so yes, because I'm the type of guy I don't like using anything canned.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how can I say this? Like for pumpkin, it's kind of a pain in the butt to like
it's a lot
to do a pumpkin, and the amount that you need to do in a restaurant.
Yeah,
you're gonna want to shoot yourself. So
yeah.
Canned pumpkin is not a bad way to go.
No,
it's not a bad
I
way
agree.
to go because it's such like the seeds and everything that you have to kind of like remove. It's kind of a pain to do fresh pumpkin.
Yeah.
Because I like using fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
Fresh pumpkin is kind of a pain. If you,
Yeah.
it's like, ooh, do I really want to do all that? And the seeds and
Yes.
everything, it's a mess. And then the skin and, oh man, it's kind of a mess. So canned pumpkin, I think, is easier to use.
Genuinely, I think without the canned pumpkin industry, like pumpkin pie would have gone the way of like at home butchering. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I think it would have
Yes.
been a lost art that our great grandparents practiced that people don't do anymore. And it really is like, I mean, I've done both. And like, I just processed this amazing pumpkin that I grew in my backyard, which was super fun. But like, I'm not being paid by Libby's to say this, but I will say that Libby's pumpkin is made from actual pumpkins and it's their own special, like low water, low sugar variety. And so and then the more water is taken out in the processing. So you're getting, in some ways, this like denser, richer product that's a lot harder to get when you're doing that at home, especially if you have to do it in bulk at a restaurant.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like I feel like the food industry, right, has totally done a phenomenal job of making quality products that you can buy from the store, whether it's a canned product or like a sous vide, something that's cryovac in a bag or whatever.
Yeah.
When I used to cook for a charity for Honey Salt, we bought these gnocchis. We would buy these gnocchis for the charity,
Yeah.
and it would blow your mind how good they are. They taste just
Yeah.
like gnocchi. And me and my sous chef were like, this is crazy. Like, no way. And the guy we bought it from was like, you wouldn't believe what restaurants use this dehydrated gnocchi product in their kitchens. And we're like, seriously? He's like, I'm not going to tell you, but seriously, because that's how good it is.
Yeah.
But convenience cooking has even helped restaurants, especially high volume ones. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine, going to the Cheesecake Factory and getting them doing fresh pumpkins for their
Oh my
cheesecakes. Could you imagine?
God. No. So like home bakers, we like die on the cross of everything from scratch. Like do it if you want to. It's fun. But like canned pumpkin is all good. So Sterling, we are going to come to what you're doing at your current restaurant, Palate, which I've been to, and I also took co-host David Figler to as well. But we gotta touch on a PSL, and maybe you've only had one experience with it. Okay, so when it comes to pumpkin spice flavor, McCormick launched a pumpkin spice blend in the 1930s, but like our current craze of all pumpkin spice foods actually does come from Starbucks. They launched pumpkin spice lattes in 2003, and it was an overwhelming success. So do you have opinions on who does the best pumpkin spice latte in Vegas if we get away from Starbucks?
Ooh. I love the little place around the corner from me, Dig It Coffee. They do
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal job. Yeah, that's like really good. I've actually had their pumpkin spice there. It's good.
Ooh, all right.
There's a reason why Starbucks is kind of like the one, because they started a trend. So they had to master it too, right?
When they were coming up with it in their like flavor lab, they had everyone bring in their like family pumpkin pie recipe and they dumped espresso on it and then ate it. And that's how they like determined. And it was originally just the spice blend. They added pumpkin to it later. But interestingly, my favorite in the city is from the Coffee Class, which is out here in Henderson. And they somehow are it tastes just like drinking a slice of pumpkin pie with espresso in it. They somehow capture like the vegetal pumpkin flavor, which can really get lost in the spice blend. And it really adds something to it. And I don't know how they do it.
I mean, we were talking about food before, and like I feel like a lot of people like they try to like do different things and master things differently. And now people are like food is such a big thing that people like really experiment with different things. So they're probably actually they might have took a blender and put actual pumpkin pie in there and blended up and tried to see it.
God.
I mean, I'm just joking, but you never know.
But what if?
People do some really unique things with flavors, and they try to. I mean, I've seen like stuff like what Rudy does with cocktails here, and I'm like, okay, like mad
Yeah.
scientist over here, and it's like kind of like that's crazy. It's like
Yeah.
people try. They really try to master the flavors and try to be very unique in every way, shape, and form, and so people come up with the different techniques all the time.
I would like to think that the coffee class is blending slices of pumpkin pie in every latte. It tastes like it. I'm here for it.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for adults with migraine with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents, on average, 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Ask your doctor and visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Blinds.com is kicking off the savings early with Black Friday mega deals all month long. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can even handle everything from measure to your whole home installed for just one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Get up to 45% off site-wide and a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Okay, so getting away from the beverages, we can talk cocktails too. What are some excellent pumpkin treatments you've seen on some seasonal menus throughout the city?
I might be biased because she was my pastry chef at one point in time, but she's absolutely phenomenal. The pastry chef at Honey Salt, Andrea, every year she does a pumpkin pie and then a sweet potato pie for us. And it's phenomenal because they do to-go Thanksgiving meals and they do a pumpkin pie on there. It's phenomenal. But she's doing a pumpkin bread pudding. Oh my God. I know, like, I was just there like 3 days ago, and I'm so mad that it wasn't on the menu yet then. But I know it's gonna be like crazy good. So I gotta come back and check that out. But her pumpkin pie was always spot on. So Andrea, mwah, I love you. Her pastries are phenomenal. I went back for her key lime pie the 2 weeks before that, and like it's so amazing. Her pastries
And
are great.
are they doing a takeout Thanksgiving menu again this year?
They sure are. Yeah, yes.
Great.
As well as we are here at Palate. We're
are
gonna do
you?
a Thanksgiving menu too as well.
What's on your takeout menu?
We're doing smoked mac and cheese. We're gonna do a Mary's free range turkey. We're doing cranberry sauce, our own cranberry sauce, not buying the canned one. And then we're also doing stuffing, gravy. We're doing like a giblet gravy. So it's literally like all the classics, but like a little bit of my twist with it.
I love it. I love the idea of a smoked mac and cheese. I mean, okay, so speaking of Palate, your current restaurant in the Arts District, although you've been around town, it's so exciting to see you open your own spot. So your employees have been begging you. Your patrons have been demanding it. Are you doing anything special with pumpkin at your restaurant right now?
I am actually. We kind of do it for brunch. We did a pumpkin French toast with whipped cream, pepitas, and then
Ooh, yeah.
caramel applesauce over the top. And then also for our palate dulcet, which is our mixture of little desserts of nostalgic snacks, we have some pumpkin bread on there as well with some cheese frosting. So I'm kind of dabbling into pumpkin a little bit because I know it's a popular thing and people love pumpkin. So.
What about, okay, so we talked a lot about sweet, but savory pumpkin preparations are definitely out there too. Any thoughts, any favorites in the Valley?
Main Street Provisions. They're doing a pumpkin risotto.
Kim at Main Street Provisions. And I know she's not the chef, but like,
Right.
she's one of our favorite people.
Yeah, they're doing a pumpkin risotto over there. It's a vegan item.
Ooh.
It's definitely delicious.
That sounds amazing. So are there other ways to use pumpkin that might not be obvious?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that of course, besides anything that's like puree or coffee or anything like that, I mean, you can dehydrate the pumpkin, use it for texture. There's so many different things you could do with it, as well as dehydrate, use it as garnish, candy it. There's there's make it into ice cream.
Yeah.
I could easily do a pumpkin ice cream.
Yes, into it. I mean, and I also love a pumpkin curry. Of course, there's can be some like really great pumpkin ravioli and use it in place of potatoes and gnocchi. You can kind of like mix it up and you're also getting that incredible orange color and things too. But you can treat, if you've got a whole pumpkin, you can treat it like anything else, but you can also treat it like tomato sauce too and use it in that kind of place. So I guess I use it a lot with pasta too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and as you were saying it, I'm thinking to myself, that would be cool to do pumpkin puree in my grits.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. And I was like, oh wow, I've never thought about it before. And now as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm brainstorming in my head. Pumpkin next year with grits. But it's a squash. So like, if you like, the way I think about food sometimes, right, is like, I think about like what the genus of the item I'm using, and I think about other applications that people use for that genus, so that species. And then I'm like, okay, so it's a squash. So like I could do like I used to do a squash mosaic on my menu. I could literally take the pumpkin and do it and like do one of my squash mosaics, which is kind of like a little like a thin casserole type of thing. Right. So there's like, I think pumpkin actually is a very versatile item because it has so many, it has a little bit of starch in it, right? So you can use it. It'll add some like texture or tackiness to whatever. You can use it to make things stick, like whatever. It's like kind of, it's a very versatile ingredient.
Yeah, and here's definitely an under-considered way to use it. It can be used as a vessel. I have pickled cucumbers in a pumpkin. It's delicious. It adds something like subtle and buttery and again, like kind of like, yeah, starchy. Maybe that's it. And then a traditional indigenous way is you use it as a cooking vessel. So you can put your beans, your water, your meat in there. You pop the top back on. You can do that in a modern oven. Or you can do it over the open fire too.
Wow, look at you.
Look at me.
You're the pumpkin specialist over here.
Listen, I do love pumpkin. I'm going to dig up that pickle recipe because I think I just saw a picture of it online and I was like, I'm going to do that. And it was amazing. I really liked it. Just make sure your pumpkin doesn't have any soft spots because it will rot and then you'll have pickle juice in your fridge. All right. So people are going to be making some pumpkin pies coming up here. So do you have any tips for producing a good pumpkin pie? What are your secrets?
Ooh, so every time I like to bake something or I make an ingredient, I make something, I like to do something unique to it. So for me, pumpkin pie, I'd add a little like lemon zest or orange zest to it to help like give it like that little bit of
I
like
love
a
that.
citrusy vibe.
Yeah.
It really goes well with like the spices. So when we made our pumpkin bread here, that's what we did. We put a little orange zest into it. So it gave it a little different dynamic of flavor that you're not usually having in your pumpkin bread. And you're like, oh, what is that in there? So for me, adding like a citrus, like a zest of a citrus, or maybe even dried fruit or anything like that, something I usually try to like find like different little things that are like, oh, okay, it's still part of the season, but kind of can also change the flavor a little bit.
Yeah. A little booze in there. Never heard anything. A
Oh,
little
yeah.
brandy, a little
Yeah.
whiskey, a little Applejack. And I think, and I don't know if other people do this, but especially if I'm processing my own pumpkin, but also with the canned ones, when I mix the filling, I actually do it with an immersion blender. And I find it just makes it a little smoother.
Oh, yeah. That's a really good idea. That's a really, really good idea. Yeah.
Little
Taking it right out the can or whatever and then
Yeah.
pulsing it. Yeah.
Yeah, pulsing it with all the spices and the cream, the eggs, whatever is in there. Well, Sterling, any last tips or words of advice for pumpkin lovers wanting to experience the flavor before the season is over?
Yeah, I mean, experiment with pumpkin. Have fun with pumpkin. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I like to do as a chef. I like to take ingredients that either A, I'm not familiar with, or B, that like are like the run of the mill, and I like to do different things with it. So I challenge people to take pumpkin to new heights and do some cool new things with pumpkin. And maybe I'll stop by your restaurant and see, or if I know you, your house, and buy some of your
Yeah.
new pumpkin stuff.
Yeah. Stilly, I was going to say the same to you. I challenge you to take pumpkin to new heights, and you know that I will stop by and try it as a deep pumpkin lover.
I accept the pumpkin challenge.
Okay. All right. Let me know what happens. I can't wait.
I'll let you know.
Thank you so much, Sterling. I appreciate all your opinions today.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
And now, please enjoy this important conversation with contributor Kim Foster and Dr. Andrea Dempsey from Juve MD. Through her medical practice, Dr. Dempsey is working to improve the lives of Las Vegans, managing hormonal changes, which affects a lot more of us than you may think.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Foster, and I am here today with Dr. Andrea Dempsey. And ladies in your 40s and up, you're going to want to listen because her medical practice, Juve MD, located in Summerlin, is dedicated to helping women manage the life-changing effects of menopause. And don't let anyone tell you that they are not life-changing because they are. The brain fog, the inattention, the hot flashes, the changes in your sex drive, and the way society looks at us differently once we get to a certain age, it's a lot. If this is you, I really recommend listening to this segment. Dr. Dempsey is a board-certified internal medicine physician that has been practicing in Vegas since 2007. But seeing the need for women in various stages of menopause, she shifted her practice from internal medicine to helping women with balancing their hormones, losing weight, and living their best lives. We're so happy to have more of this in town. And Dr. Dempsey, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kim. I am so excited to be here. This is my passion. I do this full time, hormone replacement therapy for women and men. And women are not crazy. Like we were told that our brains are not working the same way. Our bodies don't feel the same way. We're not aging the way we want. And so I made it my practice to do the research, go to the education, and find out more about what is available for women. Over the past 12 years, I've done a lot of hormone replacement in the world of bioidenticals, but most recently I changed my practice even more so to deal with pellets. And I've seen a stability in my patients, happiness, and it's really just my full-time passion.
All right, let's talk about this some more because this topic is really near and dear to me. This feeling like you are going crazy, which is something that I think a lot of women in perimenopause and menopause talk about, where you just don't feel like yourself. And a lot of times you'll walk into a doctor and they'll say, oh, that's just stress, or you're too young to be feeling that way. How important is it for women to have access to doctors who get their experience? And how do you do this with women? And what makes it different for you?
I think starting first and foremost, it's compassion. I mean, perimenopause can start in their early 40s, and menopause on average in the United States could be 51. It's a long time for women to be experiencing this, in addition to our regular stressors, to be told that we're not doing well because we're under stress or we're not getting enough sleep, and then compounding the fact that estrogen does have a physiological benefit for our brain. And even more so, there's studies right now that are showing the benefit of estrogen on the brain. So going back to finding a doctor that will not just piecemeal together your diagnosis, something for your sleep, something for your mood, something for your achy bones, and thinking that that piecemeal approach is actually going to help you, and not entertaining the idea that hormones are driving a lot of these symptoms, and that actually can help women get motivated, can help them to sleep better, to exercise better, and then their bodies actually feel better. So that's, their relationships improve. And then finding a doctor that is compassionate to look at the history, look at the patients as people that are going through a lot of things, and noting that over the next, say, 10 to 14 years, the labs will change, the circumstances will change, and the doses could change. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach for sure.
Wow, this is amazing. Can you talk just a minute about the research that most of us are aware of that says that having hormones is detrimental, that it can increase your risk of cancer? For people who are like on the sidelines and wanting to think about this, but are worried about, that particular research, has that been debunked?
A lot of it has. I would just say the last 16 years of my practice, I've thought a lot about this Women's Health Initiative that came out in 2000, because I was sort of like that black sheep thinking, well, it's just not adequate to discuss all women when the average age of that study was 63 years of age. Women starting hormones that at that age, 10 years after going through menopause, was just not an adequate sample of looking at perimenopausal women and women entering into menopause. And in fact, some of this has been debunked to show that within the first 5 years of menopause, using hormone replacement at this time is actually giving the most benefit to the heart, potentially up to 40% reduction of cardiovascular disease, and also the brain benefits.
Okay, so you mentioned bioidentical and you've mentioned the pellets. Can you just get really nitty-gritty and explain what are the pellets, what are bioidentical hormones, and just give us like a rundown on what we should expect when we come into the office.
Okay. So blood work is essential. I mean, for anyone saying that it doesn't really tell us anything, it does. So looking at an extensive panel, estrogen, follicle-stimulating hormone, testosterone, thyroid, and then bioidentical hormones are those identically made to like what our body makes. So estradiol, testosterone, progesterone. So you can replace those in other forms, creams, patches, gels, injections. And I did that for many years until I decided to go to a conference as I was told that the testosterone benefits were superior to the prescription medication for bone density treatment. I thought, I've got to hear this conference. And I was just floored. And so the pellet delivery mechanism is interesting because it is a small procedure performed in the office by me. The little tiny grain of rice of, say, testosterone or like a sesame seed size of estrogen will go under your skin every 4 months. It's really well tolerated. And then it leads to a stability of these estrogen and testosterone levels because of the way that the delivery system. So it's cardiac output delivered. So every time your heart pumps, you're getting a little sampling of this testosterone and estrogen. Progesterone can't be delivered this way. It has to be done in a pill. However, like the blood work that I've seen and the advantage to this, because I was comparing and contrasting all of these years of patients' symptoms and changing these little doses of creams versus just tailoring these pellet doses, I thought, this is really incredible. So over the next 6 months of trying on myself and my other patients, I made the change to my practice to do this full time. And here we are like 5 years later. I'm excited. It's really exciting.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This gives me so much hope as a woman who, is in menopause now. And for years, really struggled not knowing how to handle the changes in my body. So this really makes me excited. This is a fantastic interview. So much information for us. I am so grateful to have you here, Dr. Andrea Dempsey from Juve MD. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Kim, for having me. I had such a great time talking about hormones, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Me too. If everybody wants to take a look, you can go to juvemd.com and you can check out more information, how to book an appointment, and the things that Dr. Dempsey can do for you to help get you through this really challenging time. Thanks so much for listening.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Hey, if you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend. Go eat something deliciously pumpkin-y. You can also rate our show and leave us a review and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.